Since my earliest memory, I have grown up surrounded by pigeon racing, with my dad and granddad being one of West Yorkshire's biggest pigeon fanciers, which, in pigeon terms, means breeder or owner. But now, the sport faces its steepest decline to date, and I wanted to learn firsthand not only the impact of the sport dying, but also the sadness of the memories dying along with it. This is the fall of the pigeon fancier. The best place to start on my journey was by visiting my father, who opened up to me for the first time about how he stopped racing following the death of my granddad.
When you win a big race, so if you won a channel race or a classic race or a combine race, you would get the big trophy for the year, and you would keep it for a year and you'd be engraved with your name on it. Well, pigeon racing has been in us family for years, both my dad and my granddad and my great-granddad. Having always raced pigeons with my dad, and the pigeon huts were at the back of my dad's house, so to carry on racing pigeons I would have had to move the pigeons somewhere else. But when my dad died, a spark died within me, so I found it very, very hard. He died with 5 races to go, so I carried on racing for the 5 races, of which I won the last 3 races and the biggest race. But it was just never the same again. Racing pigeons really, so...
Many factors can be blamed for the lack of uptake in the sport, but one of the most disheartening is the fact that fanciers are simply passing away. On our mission to speak to people who's seen the sport evolve, Dad brought me to his good friend and fellow fancier Nigel. He has been racing birds for over 20 years in the north of England.
Come on in, my friends. Welcome to my palace.
He invited me into his pigeon huts and told me how he continues to see the demographic of fanciers get older and older.
The reason why the sport's declined is a number of different reasons. I think it's a different type of world we live in today. Kids don't want things that's going to tie them down. Another thing is they've taken it away from a working man's hobby. It's pretty expensive. I just think the way of life today, like we used to have mining communities, it were a miner's relief to come out at the pit, keep pigeons. That's what pit men used to do. Now it's sad. It's because you go to a pigeon show now, and you'd think it were a old man's convention, you know what I mean? They're all old people. You don't see many young people anymore, and it really, you know, every year, lads that you've known for donkey's years are slowly passing away, and yeah, there's nobody coming into sport, but we keep plugging away because it's our way of life.
So I did just that. I needed to see firsthand what Nigel referred to, so I went to the pigeon basketing of my grandfather's former club, which happens the night before a race takes place, where I met Brian, the chairman.
This piece of stone is steeped in the history of Pontefract Flying Club.
Now, 3 premises later, he tells me a new member hasn't joined since my last visit with my granddad over 10 years ago.
When was the last time you had a youngster join the club?
Before you were born. Yeah,
Really?
I don't think we've had any youngsters in, so it's not good, that, is it? But I think there's too much of all this and sat in rooms.
What about membership?
That's decreased as well.
Another factor in the sport's decline is the lack of uptake from younger generation, something my sister Lily knows all too well.
So this was a photo of the Yorkshire Combine, and there's me, my dad and my granddad, and we were the Pontefract winners. This was in 2019. That were a great memory.
Lily used to be heavily involved, but now she has grown up and her interest has diminished.
Yeah, I did love pigeon racing. It was great and it did hold a lot of memories, but now I can understand how the world's changed and how people just wouldn't be interested in it with such a push for other sports and such a push for social media and influencing. It's a sport that nobody's really interested in.
I reached out to the Royal Pigeon Association, who, since 2015, has reported a year-on-year decline in pigeon club membership across the North East region. To make sense of this, I went to see former president of the Royal Pigeon Association, David Higgins, to shed some light on the decline in numbers.
Doesn't show dust, the camera, does it? Yeah, it's been just a gradual decline. I think it was probably at its peak in round about the late 60s, 70s. But then there's just been a gradual decline since then. When technology has developed, young people have found other interests. Pigeon racing, it's a continuous thing, whereas bits of technology, you can pick it up and put it down, and it doesn't matter. I was presented in 2020 after 40 years service.
So it would have been 40 years ago, probably. Then.
Yeah.
And how many of those people in that picture are still with us?
Oh, not so many.
Very few.
Not so many. Oh, it's very sad. I mean, I've lost a lot of very good friends. Yeah, a lot of hard-working people who contributed a tremendous amount to the sport. And then, you know, it's not wasted. It's still there. The good things they did are still in operation, if you like. But it is very sad.
As pigeon racing continues to face a lack of uptake, the loss of members and growing expenses, one hopes that the memories don't fly away forever.